Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I wanted today to spend a few minutes discussing one of the theories that any student who has taken a marketing course or a more specialized consumer behavior course would have certainly come across, and that is a theory that typically falls under uh, the section on motivational theories. That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What is it that motivates people to do what they do? And specifically in the consumer context, how can we apply Maslow's hierarchy of needs to consumer behavior? Now, Maslow was a humanist psychologist. Let me just read you here. So, this is in my original book in 2007, The Evolutionary Basis of Consumption. This was an academic book, so it's a more technical scientific book where I was trying to plant the flag of how to Darwinize consumer psychology, consumer behavior. And here I was arguing that we are a consumatory animal. We don't just consume Coca Cola and Starbucks, right? We consume friendships, we consume religious narratives, we consume cultures, products of culture, cultural products, movies and romance novels and literature and art. And so, most of our purpose of behavior can be consumatory in one sense or another. And therefore, if you wish to study the evolved human nature of Homo sapiens in a modern context, of course, then turning to consumer behavior is a wonderful place to do so. And hence, this is the field that I pioneered, evolutionary consumption. And so, this book, The Evolutionary Basis of Consumption, was the book that I first came out with in 2007, where I discuss Maslow's hierarchy of needs in several passages. And there I argue that while Maslow's hierarchy of needs, has certainly offered a nice framework to study the motivational system of consumers. It is not necessarily fully accurate. It lacks some empirical grounding. For example, and at times it has been falsified. So it's not true that the lowest physiological needs have to be met before you go up the hierarchy all the way up to self actualization. Oftentimes, you might be starving and yet you might be willing to spend your last dime on the really cool running shoes so that people within your ecosystem can respect you. And so I came up with a taxonomy of four sets of needs: survival, reproductive, kin selection, things related to kin, and reciprocal altruism or reciprocity. And I argue that those four Darwinian modules, rooted in an understanding of evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology, are the foundational drivers of purpose of behavior in general and certainly consumer behavior. And so for a long time, I have been interested in Maslow's hierarchy and in ways that we can improve it. But I recently got around to reading his actual. I mean, I knew a bit about Maslow. He was a humanist psychologist. He's a Jewish psychologist, and so I had a sense of his academic trajectory. But I had never read a biography by him. And as I've told you many times, I have a unbelievable personal library, and I want to read every last syllable of every book. And so I've been I always read a lot, and now I've been on a voracious, orgiastic reading spree. And so I recently read this book, which had been in my library for many years, The Right to Be Human by Edward Hoffman. It's a book that came out in 1988. It's absolutely incredible. Now, it's incredible in that, first, Maslow is a very interesting psychologist. It's written really beautifully. But what amazed me the most is as I was reading sections of Maslow's thoughts and his trajectory in his career, I literally could have been writing this as an autobiography. How he became disenchanted with students, how he was now looking for a way out of the burdens of some of the burdens of being a professor, where he could have more time to think and write. Many of those things are exactly those that I've been feeling for a while, right? While I love to get up and profess in front of a class, I don't like the whining. I don't like the grading. I don't like the sense of entitlement of the students, the administration of running a class, the administration that comes with being a professor, going to departmental meetings. And so as I read many of the passages in the book, there's an expression that says in French, plus ça change, plus les choses restent les mêmes, or something. I can't remember the expression. Like, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I completely botched that expression. But in any case, unbelievable book. So if you're interested in Maslow, if you're interested in the history of psychology, if you're interested about the incredible influence he subsequently had, certainly in business psychology, in marketing psychology, in consumer psychology, in many areas, while originally, he was, very much within the lane of academic psychology. Some of his applied work, and certainly most famously his Maslow's hierarchy of need, but other work as well, really was picked up certainly within the business school, within academia and the business school, but also by practitioners of business and business leaders and so on. So I highly, highly recommend that you check out this book. I'm going to try to do these periodically, maybe once a week, where I take a book that either I recently read or had read quite a while ago and discuss it. I hope that you'll enjoy this new feature. Please leave messages. Tell us whether you've read it. If you've read it, give us your feedback. And also, please, the very least you can do, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Subscribe to the podcast. These things really do matter. And if you have what amounts to the price of a coffee, then you can also subscribe to my exclusive content on X. I think it's maybe $5 or $6. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Cheers.